It started on a Monday morning, the kind where the courthouse air feels like it carries judgment before a single word is spoken. The gallery was filling fast, lawyers tightening their ties, clerks organizing thick files, the usual shuffle of justice on display. But the whispers spreading across courtroom 12 weren't about the case on the docket, they were about the man standing alone at the defendant's table. Andre Mitchell. 32. Clean-shaven. Calm. Dressed in a tailored gray suit. And still being stared at like he didn't belong in the room. Before we start, hit that like and subscribe button, then comment where you're watching from. Your support keeps these powerful stories coming. He stood quietly, hands clasped, waiting for his hearing on a simple traffic citation, wrong plate number, clerical mistake, easily cleared. But the judge assigned to the courtroom that day was notorious. Judge Henry Caldwell. A man who had built a reputation on belittling defendants, especially ones he assumed couldn't fight back. And today, he was in a rare mood. The bailiff slammed his staff. All rise. Court is now in session, the Honorable Judge Henry Caldwell presiding. Judge Caldwell strode in like a king entering his throne room, chin up, chest out, eyes sharp with self-importance. He glanced at the docket, then at Andre. You, Caldwell barked, pointing a finger. Step forward. Andre did, calm as still water. Caldwell looked him up and down with a sneer. Name? Andre J. Mitchell, Your Honor. Caldwell snorted. We'll see about the honor. He pretended to flip through paperwork. Traffic violation, improper registration, suspected tampering. Typical, typical, typical. The gallery shifted uncomfortably. Andre took a breath. Your Honor, I have the corrected registration. There was a clerical. Caldwell slammed his gavel so hard even the stenographer jumped. Do you talk over me in MY courtroom? Andre blinked slowly. No, Your Honor. I was only nothing, Caldwell snapped. You people never learn. The courtroom went silent. Andre's jaw tightened, but he didn't react. Not yet. Caldwell leaned forward, voice dripping with disdain. You think dressing up in a fancy suit is going to make you respectable? You think it hides what you really are? A loser who can't follow simple laws. A few gasps echoed around the room. Marcus, a young public defender who had seen Caldwell's temper many times, whispered, Dude, why does he not know who you are? Andre whispered back, Because I didn't announce it. Andre, Marcus said urgently, Tell him. Not yet. Caldwell continued, oblivious to the landmine he was stepping on. Honestly, you people walk in here thinking you're special. But let me remind you, this is my courtroom. And I don't tolerate liars. So unless you have a miracle hidden in your little briefcase, I'm finding you guilty and sending you straight. The door opened. Everyone turned as a tall woman in a navy suit walked in, flashing credentials to the bailiff. She hurried down the aisle and stopped beside Andre. Sorry I'm late, she whispered. Traffic. Caldwell sat back, irritated. And you are? She lifted her badge. Assistant U.S. Attorney Karen Alvarez, assigned to Mr. Mitchell. Caldwell's face twitched. U.S. Attorney? Yes, she replied. Then she stepped aside, giving Andre a nod. And he shouldn't even be standing at the defendant's table. Caldwell frowned deeply. What is that supposed to? Andre reached into his suit jacket. The entire courtroom held its breath. He pulled out a leather badge case. He opened it slowly. The gold shield gleamed under the courtroom lights. Federal Prosecutor, United States Department of Justice. A shocked murmur swept through the courtroom like a sudden storm. Caldwell's eyes bulged. You're a federal prosecutor? Andre nodded once. Calm. Controlled. Powerful. Senior Federal Prosecutor, to be exact. I handled the multi-state gang indictment 2 weeks ago. Maybe you saw it on the news. Caldwell froze, color draining from his face. Andre continued, voice steady but sharp as glass. I didn't state my position earlier because I wanted to see how you handled routine defendants. And now I see that your professionalism depends entirely on who you think you're talking to. The gallery whispered, gasped, stared. Caldwell stammered, I didn't know. That's the problem, Andre said. You didn't know, and you didn't care. I came here to clear a clerical issue. Instead, you made assumptions based on the suit I wore, and the skin I'm in. Caldwell looked around helplessly as the bailiff lowered his head in embarrassment. Andre stepped closer, respectful, but firm. Judge Caldwell, I have video of your remarks. And I'm forwarding them, along with a formal complaint, to the Judicial Conduct Board. Caldwell's eyes widened in terror. Andre added, and, given your pattern of biased rulings, this may not stop at a complaint. Caldwell whispered, Please, Mr. Mitchell. I made a mistake. But Andre wasn't finished. Courtrooms must be places of justice, not humiliation. And certainly not playgrounds for men who hide cruelty behind a robe. A wave of applause rippled through the gallery before the bailiff shouted them down. Caldwell sank into his seat, hollow, destroyed, exposed. Andre turned to the clerk. "Please dismiss the citation. Documentation is in order." The clerk nodded quickly. "Dismissed." Andre gathered his papers. Justice served. Power reclaimed. Respect restored. But just as he turned to leave the courtroom, the back doors burst open. A group of stern-faced federal agents entered, led by a tall man with icy blue eyes and a badge even heavier than Andre's. He walked straight to Andre. "Mitchell," he said flatly. "We need to talk. Now." Andre stiffened. "Agent Lawson? What's wrong?" Lawson didn't blink. "It's urgent. And it involves you." Caldwell, still trembling, looked confused. What could a federal agency possibly want with? Lawson cut him off. "This is a classified matter." Alvarez stepped forward. "Is this about the Hernandez case?" "Because Andre—" "No," Lawson said sharply. "This is bigger. Much bigger." The courtroom fell silent again. Lawson leaned forward, voice nearly a whisper. "Andre, we have reason to believe someone inside the Justice Department is targeting you. And we think they set you up to be here today." Andre's heart stopped. Alvarez gasped softly. "Set him up? For what?" Lawson looked at the documents in Andre's hand. Then at the shaken judge. Then back at Andre. "Someone wants to remove you from your position. Permanently." The air in the courtroom crackled with fear. Andre frowned. "Who would want to do that?" Lawson glanced at the gallery, at every unfamiliar face. "We don't know yet," Lawson said. "But whoever it is, they're close." Andre inhaled sharply. "And they're watching." All eyes snapped toward the back of the courtroom. A shadowy figure in a black coat slipped out the door silently. Andre turned to Lawson. "Find them." Lawson nodded. "Already on it." "But Andre, this goes beyond you. What happened in this courtroom today wasn't an accident. It was a test." Andre's stomach twisted. "A test for what?" Lawson's expression darkened. Andre followed Agent Lawson out of the courtroom, leaving Judge Caldwell trembling behind the bench like a man who had just watched his own career unravel. Alvarez stayed close, steps sharp and protective, as they hurried down the hallway toward a secure conference room usually reserved for high-risk federal debriefings. When the door shut behind them, Lawson locked it and activated a white noise generator. Andre frowned. "So what's really going on?" Lawson folded his arms. "Someone inside the DOJ accessed your personnel file last night. Not routine access, deep access. They pulled financials, case notes, even your sealed testimony from the Holbrook cartel takedown." Andre stiffened. "That file is level 6 clearance." "Exactly," Lawson said. "Which means whoever did it outranks you." The room went silent. Alvarez spoke up. "So today's courtroom blow-up, Caldwell's treatment of him, was connected?" Lawson nodded. "We believe someone wanted to provoke you. Make you lose control. Get it on record. If you retaliate, if you show aggression, if you even raise your voice at the wrong person, they can push for your suspension." Andre leaned back, breath heavy. "They want me out." "We think they want you silenced," Lawson corrected. A chilling pause filled the room. Andre exhaled slowly. "Why?" Lawson slid a file across the table. "We traced the access request. The user account belongs to Senior Deputy Director Richard Halverson." Alvarez's eyes widened. "Halverson? He runs half the federal criminal operations on the East Coast." "Exactly," Lawson said. "And 3 of his closest associates were named in the documents seized during your cartel prosecution." Andre blinked. "You're saying Halverson is dirty?" "We're saying," Lawson replied, "he's scared of what you might expose." Andre felt heat rise in his chest, not anger, but realization. "So the traffic citation, the judge, this entire day. Engineered," Lawson said. "A staged humiliation. A trigger. A setup." Andre swallowed hard. "Why would a man with that much power fear me?" Lawson stared straight into his eyes. "Because you're the only prosecutor who didn't take his money." A cold shiver rolled through Andre. The walls felt smaller. The air felt heavier. "For months," Lawson continued, "Halverson has been eliminating or undermining anyone who threatens to uncover how deep his network goes. He's bought judges. He's manipulated indictments. And he's quietly disappearing evidence from past investigations." Andre clenched his fists. "And I'm next." "You're not just next," Lawson said. "You're the last one standing." Before Andre could respond, a loud knock slammed through the door. Everyone froze. The knock came again, harder. Lawson drew his weapon. Alvarez reached for hers. Andre whispered, "Who knows we're in here?" "No one," Lawson said. The room fell into a tense silence. Then, "Open up," a familiar voice barked from the hallway. "Judge Caldwell." Andre's stomach twisted. Lawson peeked through the security slot, then exhaled. "It's him. Alone." The door opened cautiously. Caldwell stepped in, disheveled, sweating, his robe half unbuttoned. But his eyes were filled with fear. "Mitchell," he breathed. "You need to leave the courthouse. Now." Alvarez stepped forward. "Judge, with respect, you're about 4 insults too late to start giving advice." Caldwell shook his head rapidly. "You don't understand. After the hearing, I got a call. From someone in Washington. They told me to bury you. To hit you with contempt. To drag you out in cuffs if necessary." Andre frowned. "Who called you?" Caldwell's voice shook. "Halverson's office." Alvarez cursed under her breath. Lawson tightened his grip on his weapon. "What exactly did they say?" Caldwell raised trembling hands. "They said Mitchell is a threat to national stability. That he's going rogue. They told me if I cooperated, I'd receive a promotion." Andre stared at the man who had humiliated him only hours earlier, now sweating like a trapped animal. Caldwell swallowed hard. "I didn't know what was going on. I swear. But when I realized who you were, and when they called again, I panicked." Andre stepped closer. "Why come to me now?" Caldwell's voice cracked. "Because I listened to the second call. And one of the men said something that terrified me." "What?" Andre asked. Caldwell looked up, eyes full of dread. "He said? If Mitchell won't fall in court, he'll fall in the parking lot." Alvarez stiffened. "They're planning an attack." Andre's pulse spiked. "We need to move." Lawson grabbed a tactical radio. "Agents Alpha and Bravo, relocate to the west exit. We're escorting Mitchell out now." Static crackled, then a faint reply came. "Copy. But Mitchell needs to see something outside." Andre frowned. "See what?" Silence. Then, "Your car. It's been tampered with." Andre felt the world slow. Alvarez whispered, "Oh God." Lawson signaled everyone toward the side hallway. "We're not leaving through the garage. We're moving to the roof. Helicopter evac." The lights suddenly cut out. Pitch black. A generator hummed weakly. Then, a single red emergency light flickered on. The hallway glowed blood red. And the building's PA system crackled to life. A distorted voice echoed through the courthouse. "Andre Mitchell, you should have stayed quiet." Andre froze. Alvarez stepped beside him. Lawson raised his weapon. And Judge Caldwell collapsed onto a bench, trembling uncontrollably. "If you keep digging, you won't survive." Andre exhaled slowly, eyes burning with fury. "Then I guess," he whispered, "they don't know who they're threatening." The red light pulsed overhead as Andre stepped forward, unafraid. The voice taunted him, but he'd endured worse than shadows hiding behind speakers. Alvarez and Lawson flanked him, ready to fight, ready to protect. Judge Caldwell stared at him as if seeing the man for the first time, stronger than the courtroom, stronger than the robe that once dismissed him. Andre clenched his jaw. "They wanted me scared," he said. "They wanted me to break." Lawson nodded. "But you didn't." "No," Andre whispered. "Now I'm going after them." The PA system went silent. But a faint click echoed in the dark. Someone else was in the building. The end. Comment below if you know you enjoyed the story. Also don't forget to follow, subscribe and turn on the notification button for more stories coming up.